let's look at this promissory note, because one of the things we do on this show is we try to educate, right? And we tell people when you have a loan, get some proof of it so that you're not in here just telling us, well, I promised to pay it back. And you have a couple of pieces of evidence, and I want to look at them. So the first is Plaintiff's Exhibit A, which is your Zelle transaction.
Yes.
All right, and here in the memo, you've put loan. All right, did you see that when she put it there?
Yes.
Okay, and that didn't surprise you because it was a loan at the time.
Right.
Okay. You also have our crayon promissory note. And again, we always tell people it does not have to be a fancy document. You do not have to go to a notary, get your daughter's crayon and write something up, and that gives us a lot to work with. I promise to repay the money I borrowed, and it is signed. And then perhaps my favorite part, somebody has written, pay her back now.
My daughter. She was right there because we was all right there in the room watching TV.
Yeah.
And I was like, because I was like, when you going to give me my money?
Yeah.
And I asked then. I always ask.
So
like,
you had a witness
yeah.
who said, pay her back now.
And he was laughing. And I was like,
I would be
you're going
too.
to sign it.
Yeah. So, Mr. Beckett, you've told us that you signed this for a reason other than to acknowledge that it was a loan. What's your explanation for signing?
I signed it because we was arguing at the time, and I just, to get south from arguing, I signed it.
That's a lie. That's a lie. We
Wait,
wasn't
hold
arguing.
on. But you're saying it was to get out of an argument.
It was under duress.
It was under duress.
Yeah.
Did it ever occur to you to say to him, you know what, let's skip this next trip? And before we move on, I just want to show a couple pictures of your guys' trips because they look lovely.
That was
No,
Canada.
It's Niagara Falls.
Yeah.
Did it ever occur to you to say, like, maybe let's not go to Niagara Falls? Can I just have my $1,000?
Well, he got caught cheating, so I'm going to take this trip. Why not? Why not?
No,
Why
I'm
not?
I'm not saying, and Mr. Beckett, what you told us in your answer was, she gave when I was down and I repaid her with trips, gifts, and emotional support. If you could pay banks back with emotional support, there would be a lot of banks underwater, even more than there are now. So I'm going to go ahead and open this up to my colleagues if they have more questions for either one of you.
Miss Way, you lent him the money right after you caught him with this Aunt Felicia, right? Okay. What was that about?
Because he was saying, like, he needed it. So I was like, okay. And he said, I'll pay you back in 2 weeks. And I said, you promise? And he was like, yeah. And I know he gonna lie, but everything started falling apart every time I caught him cheating. And then I'm like, you owe me money and you cheating on me. It's just, I look stupid. I thought that, because he always said, I'm going to change.
He could change. He's 55. You've known him for a year and a half.
And
what
guess
made
what?
you think he was going to change?
And I realized that this last time. And now, when I asked him, still to this day, I'm going to give you my money. But I only think he said that to keep me.
I'm done.
Because I knew I was going to.
Y'all aren't dating now, right?
No.
You want to say something, Mr. Beckett?
She could have been got her money back, like you said, if she went on these trips. Them trips, every last one of them trips was over $2,000. She could have been got her money back.
Stop.
That was guilt. That's why.
They were guilt trips.
Yeah.
I love that.
It
We're gonna use
was.
that
I'm
from
good.
now on. All right.
I'm good.
The parties are excused while we deliberate in this matter. Thank you both.
We have deliberated, and we, not surprisingly, have reached a unanimous verdict. Now, Miss Way, how long was it going to take you to realize that this 55-year-old tiger was not going to change his stripes? Maybe it was his charm, maybe it was the guilt trips, but he was not going to change his ways. This was never going to be an exclusive relationship. Probably shouldn't have trusted him with the $1,000. But that being said, Mr. Beckett, you did acknowledge that it was, in fact, a loan. You need to pay her back. Therefore, our verdict is in favor of the plaintiff for $1,000. We wish you both luck.
Thank you.
Apart.